Hello friends, today we will be talking about chapter 3, that is sale, and we'll be covering sale. Sale basically has got four sections: 54, 55, 56 and 57. And what is sale? Sale is transfer of your interest in the property, transfer of your entire interest in the property. As I told you, sale has got different component. When ownership of the property is conveyed for price, conveyed ownership of property is exchanged for a price. The price, whatever consideration you get from the property, may be given immediately or maybe later in the day, part in part or promised to you. This is called definition of sale given in a Transfer of Property Act. Now section 55 deals with rights and duties of buyers and seller. So this is very easy to understand, not much of explanation required for it. Let's proceed to section 56. What does section 56 speaks about? Section 56 speaks about marshalling by subsequent purchaser. Now let us understand this concept with the help of an example. Whenever marshalling referred, you have to recollect section 81 of the Transfer Property Act. Marshalling, simple meaning of marshalling is arrangement between the parties, or how you deal with the concept to clear your debts. This is the meaning of marshalling. Now let us understand what does marshalling by subsequent purchaser means. Now you have three properties X, Y and Z. A has got three properties called X, Y and Z. Now A has taken loan on this property X, Y and Z from one person called B. Now subsequently A sells the property to C. So in the transaction, the example which I have given you, there are three parties now, A, B and C. So A is a mortgager, B is a mortgagee and C is the purchaser. C is a purchaser now. In this case, what happens is C will ask the mortgagee, that is B, whatever loan amount is pending from A, that is the mortgager A who has sold the property to C. Whatever loan amount is pending, mortgagee will ask, B will ask, mortgagee will ask A, you can redeem the property, you can claim the C will tell the mortgagee, that is the person who has bought the property, he will tell the mortgagee, whatever money is due to you, you can realize this amount from X and Y property which is already given to you in mortgage. So now the concept arises, how does, once property is given in mortgage, how can it be sold? So when we come to the chapter of mortgage, you will come to know there are different kinds of mortgage. There can be a simple mortgage, there can be English mortgage, there can be a mortgage by conditional sale, there can be a mortgage by deposit title deed, or there can be a mortgage by usufructuary mortgage and anomalous mortgage. Different kinds of mortgages are there. By creating mortgage, you may not transfer your property, you may not physically hand over the possession of the property to the person. So a person may enter in transaction. So in such cases, C will insist the mortgagee to recover his money from XY property. If that money is insufficient, only then proceed against the property which is sold to him, that is Z property. This is the whole concept of marshalling by subsequent purchaser. In absence of the word in absence of contract comes there. So if there is no contract between the parties, then this law will take care of the situation. This is the whole concept of marshalling by subsequent purchaser. Now let us proceed against 57. What does section 57 say? Section 57 speaks about encumbrance cleared by the court. Provision for encumbrances cleared by the court. Now the court comes into the picture here to clear the encumbrance. See, anybody who is purchasing the property, he wants his property to be absolutely free from any kind of encumbrance. Now let us understand the word encumbrance. Encumbrance is a kind of burden put on a property. It may be a mortgage, it can be kind of charge in sense some amount of maintenance you have to pay to some person, some amount of maintenance you may have to give to your mother or sister, whatever it is, possible. So that kind of charge will be there on the property, or you may have taken loan from on the property and loan is not cleared. So this is a kind of charge which is existing on the property. So unless this charge is removed on the property, you will have a burden on the property. So in such cases, you can proceed to the court and remove the charge from the property, and the court will convey the property to you free from charge, encumbrance. It will be free from encumbrances. So in such cases, what happens is you go to the court and deposit the amount. What is the amount to deposit? The amount is specified by the court, saying that if an annual rent is coming out, annual rent or monthly rent comes out of the property, that interest which you would have deposited in the centralized bank, that amount you will deposit in the court. And next, suppose it happens to be a property, maybe a land. What is the government value of the land? And if you had kept that amount in a government treasury, what amount of interest you would have got? That amount, say, will be deposited in the court. In addition to this, the court may fasten with you some other liability. Suppose additional expenses are required and in contingent event may happen. In such cases, what the court will say? The court will say 1/10 of the amount has to be paid in extra to what you have paid, already deposited in the court. That is a discretion of the court. In addition to this, the court may also ask you to say the amount which you have deposited in the court is not sufficient. The amount which I have already deposited in the court is not sufficient. Then the court will has to pass a written order in writing specifying the reason for which it is asking the additional amount. This is specifically written in the provision. The court has to give reason for asking the additional amount. In addition to this, after doing this, notice has to be sent to the party. Now let us have an example, A, B and C. Now in this case, A happens to be a seller, B happens to be a purchaser and C happens to be a mortgagee. Now B goes to the court and he wants to purchase a property, and the property is encumbered, means property is burdened with some kind of mortgage. Once the amount is deposited in the court, then notice will go to the parties A and B. Notice will go to the party A. Notice will go to the party A, that is a seller, and the mortgagee C. They will come to the court and have the right agitated, right? It is summary proceeding. It is not like a suit. It is summary proceeding, not like a suit. And once the amount is dispersed, once the amount of the mortgage amount is dispersed to the mortgagee, the interest in the property is cleared, the charge of the property is removed, and the property is transferred to you free from encumbrance. And here one more thing to remember is there are basically three courts. It may be district court where the petition is filed and where the property is situated, or it may be a high court. High court may exercise original jurisdiction or extraordinary jurisdiction. Maybe a writ petition also, the court may exercise jurisdiction and pass the order, or a special court may be constituted by the state government by way of a notification. By way of a notification, a special order may be constituted. A special court may be created for dealing with that kind of properties where the property is situated. So this is basically means a civil court may be created, maybe constituted by the state government. And after order is passed, obviously one party is agreed by the order. He has all the right to go in appeal, and because it happens to be a decree of the court, and he can file an appeal. And one thing to be noted is this provision is contrary to the provisions of Order 34 Rule 12, where Order 34 Rule 12 of CPC says that you cannot withdraw. Without the consent of the mortgagee, you cannot withdraw your clear the charge. So you have to obtain the consent of the mortgagee and proceed with the matter. So this is inconsistent with the provision of CPC, but this is a substantive law. So this has taken care of the interest, and it says the charge can be removed. By this, I wind up my session. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the session. Please keep watching, keep a track of it. Thank you, and subscribe to my channel.